Hello and welcome to another edition of the Pigskin Preview. Alongside the head coach of the Western Illinois football team, Bob Nielsen, I'm Andrew Bacon, and coached last week in the Leatherneck travel to Youngstown, and I think the airplane was a little bit better this time around, huh?
It was a good trip all the way around, particularly with the outcome of the game.
And with the outcome, the Leathernecks would pick up a victory over the number 10 team in the nation, Youngstown State. WIU was able to finish the game and pick up their first Missouri Valley win of the year. And so, Coach, what were your thoughts on the victory?
A really important win for our program. We've played very well the last 2 weeks against high-quality teams that were ranked and also top teams in the conference. And to respond to that by putting together another quality performance and actually getting a win was a major step forward for our program, and hopefully continues to help us build momentum throughout the rest of the year.
All right, let's go ahead and send out to WIU TV3 commentators Drew Hoffman and Josh Dillon for the first half highlight.
Under the lights! Showtime! Showtime, fellas!
So here's the first look at Nania and the Youngstown State offense. It's going to be a screen to the outside. That's going to be picked up by Stubbs, and Stubbs, shake and bake, finally shoved out of bounds by Venegoni. They'd be handing the ball off to Ruiz, and they do on this play as he runs straight up the gut. And Kevin Kinsel is going to hit him from behind. Going to be 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. It's going to be a hand to Ruiz in front of the outside. He's got good blocking in front of him, good cutback, and he's free. One guy to beat, that's Rollins. He shakes him loose. And then he's finally brought to the ground around the 39-yard line as Ruiz put an offensive showcase on. Webb this time as he squirts up the middle. And he's brought down by Rollins, but that is now the 3rd consecutive time that the rusher has gotten to Western secondary. Movement in the backfield. Stubbs. And it's going to be a handoff right up the middle of the field. And that's going to be another great first down pickup, this time from Webb. Keepers on the team standing in at 6'4". Rush right up the middle of the field, and Raffleson really just jumped on his back.
Really have to change of pace. You just have the same guy.
It's going to be another handoff following his blockers and then diving.
Time for pass number 2.
Motion in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff to the fullback.
False start.
And we got a flag on the field. False start, and that'll move him back. Middle of the field wide open. Nania back to pass, sending a lot of guys. Nania's going to scramble.
Nope.
And he's going to get sacked. Out on the field now is number 17, Cejudo. His kick is up, and it is good. Baker in motion, moving to the other side. That leaves Williams all by himself.
Sadly, Youngstown State didn't bite on it.
Baker now with the run, cutting it back. And that was just a great read on the field by the senior as he's able to push Western up past that marker. Low snap, Baker on the carry. He's got some blockers in front of him. 2 men deep for Youngstown State. Norvell back to pass. He's flushed out of the pocket. He's going to dive for that first down, and that's extremely close.
More in the backfield, I almost guarantee. Yep.
They're going to keep it with Norvell, and Norvell, he did exactly what he needed to do. He followed his blockers, dove forward, and picked up that first down. Looking to pass. He wants it all in the end zone. And that's caught as Lance Lenore Jr. with just an outstanding grab as that puts Western in the lead. He moves into a more of a slot formation. Back to pass. It's going to be a screen to the outside. Ruiz. He's going to get taken out at the ankles by Rollins and wrapped up around the waist. It'll be a running play. And Kinsel read it all the way in the backfield. He slows him up. As Western looking a lot more sharp on this defensive series. They're going to rush at him. And Nania is going to get just smothered. And that's by Diggs, number 29.
But when you get 22 sacks in a season, I mean, really, you can't ask for much better than that.
There'll be another run with Baker. Baker is going to get swallowed up behind the line. The snap, looking back to pass. He's looking out, and that's going to be caught by Lance Lenore Jr. He's still running on his feet. He's got one man to beat. He dives for the end zone, and that's 6 points.
Just walking around town, it was kind of crazy.
Going deep downfield.
Oh, no. He's been their big play receiver this season.
Ruiz.
Nope. Raffleson.
Yeah, say hello to J.J. Raffleson. Calling out. He sees something in Western's defense. Stepping back to pass. Some pressure. He's flushed.
Ooh.
He finds Williams
Williams finds Marquette Privet.
along with Kevin Kinsel as he takes just an absolute shot. Box loaded up. Diving. And he got a little help from Ruiz in the backfield, and from where the referee came running in, that's going to be enough for a first down. A lot of guys in the box. He's stepping back to pass, looking across the middle of the field. He's got Stubbs. Stubbs, a couple of an extra beat, and he's going to get tackled around the 15-yard line. Fake handoff, looking over. And that's going to be a wide open touchdown for
Jelani Barasa.
as Barasa went untouched across the middle of the field. It's 14-10 as Western clings to a 4-point lead. Fake handoff to Ruiz. It's now given to Ruiz.
Ooh.
And Venegoni might have got away with a late hit.
Here comes Rollins on the blitz.
Read beautifully as Rollins was one of the guys in there on the stop. Handoff to Webb, up the middle.
Kinsel.
He's gonna get tackled by, guess who, Kevin Kinsel. Passing across the middle of the field, that's gonna be caught by Stubbs as he made a very late adjustment and was able to turn his shoulder at that last second. It's gonna be a give to Webb. Webb, he got to the outside and he got 6 more points for his team. As Youngstown State is putting it on here in the second quarter as they now lead 16-14.
Western jumped out to a 14-3 lead in the first quarter. What attributed to the early success?
We executed pretty well offensively. We thought we could take advantage of some matchups on the perimeter, and we did that. Trenton Norvell threw the ball well all day, made a couple of nice throws to keep drives alive, and obviously the play that Lance made on the second touchdown was just a great individual play by him. And even though we didn't hold on to the lead, that gave us some momentum that we could, and confidence that we could move the football consistently against them the entire game.
And so, like you said, in the second quarter, it wasn't the same story. What exactly happened in the second quarter defensively?
Well, Youngstown's a good football team. They came in as one of the top offensive teams in the country, scoring a lot of points. And we knew they were going to score some points, and scoring points ourselves was going to be important. We gave them one short field opportunity, which they put into the end zone, and as a result, we're trailing by 3 at halftime.
After 2 drives for Youngstown, they put in Hunter Wells. What were your thoughts on him and his performances? Obviously, he'd only had some scrap time previously.
You know, it was interesting. As a head coach, you sometimes don't notice that, and I'm spending most of my time on the phones on the offensive side of the football, but he had played well when he had been in there. I think they feel he's a better passing quarterback, and one of the reasons why they put him in and stayed with him through the rest of the game.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned as we'll take a look at the second half. You're watching the Pigskin Preview, home of Fighting Leatherneck football.
If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how.
Where do you think you're going?
Is your body holding you back?
I want to go running. Not with that knee, you're not. I'm fine.
Fight for your mobility. Visit anationinmotion.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Welcome back to the Pigskin Preview. With Youngstown State picking up in the second, what adjustments were made at half?
Very few adjustments. We felt that defensively we hadn't played very well on a couple of the drives, just in execution of some of our base things and techniques, and so that was probably the biggest adjustment that we made. We talked about the opportunity for the fake punt that we did run in the second half. They play a very return-oriented scheme and give you opportunities to do some things, and certainly that was a big momentum play in the second half.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the second half.
Looking to pass, come back right on the outside. Lenore, catch is made. Fake handoff, Norvell rolling out. looking across the middle of the field, and Joey Borsellino, get up, little fella. High snap, Norvell, flushed out of the pocket. That pass was intended for High C. Scott.
And again in the spread punt formation here for Knuffman. Good snap on that one.
And it's going to be a run. As the field is cleared out, Knuffman still on his feet. And he's finally brought down at the 30-yard line, as that's going to be a huge momentum swing.
As long as it works, keep doing it.
Fake handoff. Looking for it all. He's got a wide open Joey Borsellino as he snuck past the defense. And that's reservations for 6 as Western regains the lead. Second and long. Fake handoff. Norvell's to keep it. Lunging out for an extra couple of yards. Norvell.
Keeper again.
And Norvell scrambling. He's a scrambling man.
With Devin Moore in the backfield.
And it'll be a give to Moore. Moore trying to get to the outside, and he does.
One-on-one matchups for the receivers.
And he's finding Lance Lenore again. And he's going to get wrapped up and brought to the ground at about the 17-yard line.
The pass in there nicely. Youngstown State, again, lining up single high safety.
And another great pass. And there's a late flag, as I think they're going to call Rivers for roughing the passer. The pass was complete, however, to High C. Scott for about a 7-yard pickup. Norvell, a lot of pressure. Oh, and he's got a wide open
High C.
Scott as Western connects again. And Norvell with his 4th touchdown of the game.
17 points, excuse me. I'm not a math major.
A huge pickup across the middle of the field. High C. Scott still on his feet. He's got a couple men to beat.
Nope. Oh,
He's cutting back left and right. He's now up past the 35, the 30. And he'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. Knuffman straight away. 23, 24-yarder, up and good. Fake handoff to Ruiz. Wells looking across the middle of the field. He's got a completion to Bryan, who's been awfully quiet this game. Handoff to Ruiz. He's going to get wrapped up by Venegoni and Harley. Western loading up the box. Williams. It's going to be a give to Adams, and Adams.
Good run. Good run by Nate Adams.
Yeah, escapes the first round of fire.
Not maybe on this play, but on this drive.
It's going to be a handoff. Ruiz trying to get to the outside. He's still on his feet. 10-5, touchdown. That is actually Jody Webb. He must have just checked in. However, that's going to be a huge touchdown.
In the sidelines here, because if you tackle them inbounds, that forces them to waste it down.
And they've got no timeouts left. Across the middle of the field again. Wells, middle of the field again. Venegoni again. Wells in the shotgun. He's got Ruiz in the backfield. Rolling out to his left, looking downfield. He's got plenty of time. He unloads. A lot of red, a lot of white jerseys. Batted away as Aaron Diggs is going to end the game for Youngstown State and give Western their first conference win of the season. And it's a big one as they knock off number 10, Youngstown State, 30-24.
WIU holds Youngstown State 30-24 in a game that went right down to the wire. Let's go and take a look at the box score. Trenton Norvell had arguably his best game of the season, coach. 19 of 26 for over 290 yards, 4 touchdowns. Baker almost eclipsing the 100-yard mark as he had 23 carries for 96 yards. Lance Lenore, 8 receptions, 132 yards, and was finally able to get his first 2 touchdowns of the season. As I said, Hunter Wells was the quarterback for the Penguins for a majority of the game, finishing 14 of 25 for 187 yards and a touchdown. Martin Ruiz, 14 carries for 80 yards, and then Webb, 8 carries, 57 yards for 2 touchdowns. In the second half, the Leathernecks came out at halftime with an explosive offensive attack. Coach, can you talk about the play calling?
Well, we had a good mix. We talk about being balanced in our attack, and last Saturday may have been our best balanced performance. And the other thing is we were really good on third downs in the third quarter. When we got ourselves into third down situations, we were able to make plays to keep drives alive, and that's really that's really a key to good offensive execution. And Trent made a couple of throws under pressure. His last touchdown to High C. Scott was an example of that, and so really pleased with the way we performed against a pretty good defensive football team.
Before we watch the second half, you mentioned the big play. Talk a little bit about the special teams punt by Nate Knuffman and maybe how he used to play fullback, running back for his high school.
Well, Nate's really a good athlete, and we can do some things with him like that and have some confidence in doing them. And it was a scheme that we worked on during the week where if there's a certain look, we would automatic into the fake, and it worked as good in the game as it did in practice, which is sometimes not always the case. But that was a momentum play. Anytime you can make big plays in the kicking game, there are huge momentum swings.
Very next play, Joey Borsellino would get the touchdown. So, Coach, the defense, they only allowed one touchdown. Talk about how they improved in that second half.
Well, part of that was offensively we were able to keep the football and keep the football away from them and not allow them to get into a lot of offensive rhythm. I think the other thing is, quite frankly, defensively we executed better. We executed better than what we did in the first half, and we're in the right spots and made plays that we missed in the first half.
You talked a little about earlier in the show about how important this win was for not only the program but also the team. Talk about for the team's mentality going forward to get that big win over a Missouri Valley team who was ranked.
Well, not only now does it show that we can play and compete with the best teams in the conference if we play the type of football we're capable of playing, but it also shows that we can beat the best teams in the conference, and we're certainly going to get another test of that this week.
Now let's take a closer look at the players' perspective of knocking off a top 10 FCS team in Youngstown State.
It's awesome. I mean, usually we're pretty close to it, and it's kind of like, what were the things we could have done better? But, going out there, especially out to Youngstown on a road win and, get that done, it was an awesome feeling.
Before playing Youngstown State, they were tested by North Dakota State. After nearly upsetting the Bison in a 17-10 loss, Western Illinois used what they learned to defeat the Penguins.
Really kind of shocked the conference and a couple, people because they thought, they would blow us out, but we stuck with them and we almost, came up a little short.
Compared us a lot. I mean, North Dakota State's a great team. They're number one in the nation. Going into them, and we put up a lot of rushing yards against them, and it was a great job by the offensive line. And even going to Youngstown State, and we made a lot of plays outside with the receiver position, and the offensive line did a great job too. And JC, Devon Moore, they're doing a great job at running back and getting some hard rushing yards.
When defensive back Aaron Diggs knocked down the pass ending the Youngstown State game, the Leatherneck defense showed it has what it takes to close out games.
We won. That's what we were going through my mind. I was so excited. I knew we was one play away. I didn't think it would change, so I was just happy Aaron Diggs made a play.
It was an awesome feeling. Once I knew the defense was going out there, I knew we were for sure going to have the win, and which it was awesome to see that they batted it down.
With their first Missouri Valley win under their belt, there is newfound momentum for the Leathernecks to work with.
Momentum, just going into getting a huge win like that, momentum definitely is with our team. It's a lot more confidence, in the locker room. Just like I said before, believing that we can win and, going out and just trying to get a win.
We definitely have a lot of momentum, going off with a positive and just going in with a good start, head focused and ready to go.
After upsetting the 10th-ranked team in the nation, the expectation of winning is with the Leathernecks as the 9th-ranked Illinois State Redbirds roll into Macomb.
Everyone in the locker room is expecting to win out from here, which we believe that we can do. And, just going out in a matter of, being confident and, having that road win against Youngstown State, give us a lot of confidence to do so.
I'm sure a lot of teams in our conference, know that Leathernecks are coming, with some full head of steam, anger. So they should know what they should expect.
Western is 50-42-3 lifetime against Illinois State. For the Pigskin Preview, I'm Danny Fry.
Thanks, Danny Fry, for that. Trent Norvell had a career night in the air, tying a career high with 4 touchdown passes. Coach, how have you seen him improve throughout the year so far?
Without question, this was his best game. I think he played with a great deal of confidence, and that's the one thing that I've noticed the last 2-3 weeks. He's played with confidence. He's doing a better job of directing the offense. And then the one thing he did really well Saturday was put the football into great spots. And to complete at that high of a percentage, our receivers were getting open, and he was putting the ball into a spot where our receivers could make plays.
Lance Lenore himself had a pretty good game. Like I said, the first 2 touchdowns of the season for him. Talk about him and how he's developed too, as he's starting to average 100 yards the last couple of games.
Very good receiver. He's a very physical player, and the other thing, he's a very smart football player too. And in our offense, the way we line those people up in multiple ways, you have to really know the entire scheme and not just what you do as a receiver. And that's one of the things that's a real strength of Lance's.
How important was this for those 2 players' confidence going into a lot of games with ranked opponents still?
Well, anytime you win, it helps build confidence in what you're doing and demonstrates to everybody that you're going the right direction. And even though I knew we were in the 2 previous weeks in the tough losses down at Southern and home against North Dakota State, we have demonstrated that our program is making progress. We needed that next step. We needed a win over a high-quality team, and hopefully that continues to allow our guys to build.
Norvell this week has received a couple awards. Talk about how it's nice to kind of see him get recognized for a good game.
Well, it's always great to have players get individual recognition, but I think all of our guys understand that the way you get individual recognition is by winning football games. And if we hadn't won that football game, I doubt if he would have made all those national awards. And so those individual awards have a team emphasis, and Trent will be the first to recognize that.
All right, let's now take another quick break here, but stay tuned as we have the 2-minute drill coming up. You're watching the Pigskin Preview.
Is your body holding you back?
Where do you think you're going? I want to go running. Not with that knee, you're not.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age.
Let's not pick her up. What do you say?
Yet a lot of people in pain fight back.
Use your head. Save your back. My bride, my rules.
And regain their lives.
You gotta be kidding me.
Fight for your mobility. Visit anationinmotion.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
I'll take it from here.
Welcome back to the Pigskin Preview. Junior defensive lineman Jeremy Curry now joins us on the 2-minute drill. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Now, for those new to the show, each week we here at the Pigskin Preview try and ask as many questions as possible to our guest, and you probably already guessed it, 2 minutes. And so with that, Jeremy, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, this season you've been able to get on the field more often. Mm-hmm. What did you do over the off season to help prepare you for that role?
Really just took advantage of my time that I had in the off season, working really hard with Coach Kramer and the program that he has in store for us with the LeatherNet program here has really helped my game and helped me improve on the field and off the field. So,
going back to the Youngstown game this weekend, what was going through your mind when their quarterback unleashed it from about the 50-yard line over to the end zone?
Well, in those type of situations, you always have, some stillness in your mind when big plays like that are in the air. But I had confidence in my defense, and I wouldn't want it any other way than us to finish it out on the field.
You're from Bolingbrook. The city of Bolingbrook is all about football. How does
right.
coming from that community help you at the D1 level?
It's huge. Football has been my life since the age of 4. I've been playing from flag all the way to now. So when you come from a background like that that's so involved with football, it really shows and it really helps you down the road.
4 conference titles in 4 years, right?
That's correct.
No big deal, right?
Yeah.
And then this weekend, the game is against Illinois State. Is it an added rivalry with how close Illinois State is to Macomb?
It is. It's personal. It's the battle of the state of Illinois, I always call it. Them being as big as a program and us being as good as we've been in the past, we always have, heads bumping together when it's time for us to play each other. So,
is there a favorite conference team that you like to play?
None particular. Indiana State was a good game for me last season, and they always have the same type of mentality than us, being down in the polls for conference. So they're hungry. So I like to play them at times.
And you like the food we always stop at too, right, on Friday nights?
That's right. I love the steakhouse. Love that steak.
Do you have a favorite defensive lineman that you've kind of followed a little bit in the NFL or even at the college level?
I do. Julius Peppers. He's always been a mentor, example for me as the defensive end position. So I really look up to him.
What's your favorite NFL team, real quick?
I would have to say Chicago Bears, being from Chicago.
All right, that's all the time we have for you this week on the 2-Minute Drill. Stay right there, though, as Coach Nielsen and I will take a look at the Missouri Valley Conference and preview the upcoming home game versus Illinois State. You're locked into the Pigskin Preview.
Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they'd die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org.
Welcome back to the Pigskin Preview. It's now time to take a look at how the other Missouri Valley teams did this past weekend. Southern Illinois lost big to North Dakota State, as maybe they took some of their revenge out on them, 38-10. South Dakota lost to Northern Iowa 27-16. Illinois State won with seconds remaining over Indiana State 20-18. South Dakota State rallied back to beat Missouri State 32-28, and then, as I said, Western Illinois beat Youngstown State 30-24. Moving to the standings, North Dakota State takes the top spot at a 2-0 mark in conference. Illinois State follows suit, also with a 2-0 mark, 5-0 overall. Southern Illinois 2-1, and then Indiana State, Youngstown State, South Dakota State, and Northern Iowa, and of course Western all at 1-1 marks. And Missouri State and South Dakota at 0-2 marks. This weekend's game, Youngstown State will host Southern Illinois. South Dakota will travel south to Missouri State. North Dakota State will host Indiana State in Fargo. South Dakota State will travel to the Unidome to play at Northern Iowa. And then, of course, this weekend, the Leathernecks will have Dad's Weekend on Hanson Field, where they will host the undefeated Illinois State Redbirds. Last week, the Redbirds fended off a late surge from Indiana State to pull off a 20-18 win on a last-second field goal. With the victory, Illinois State moves from the number 15 spot to 9th in the nation. The ISU offense is potent this season, putting up 216 points through only 5 games. They are led by junior running back Marshawn Copprich, who has rushed for 730 yards and 11 touchdowns. So far this season, the Leathernecks defense has been stout against the run, and so, Coach, how can Copprich be contained?
And that's the key word, contained. You don't stop good running backs in good offenses, but if you could avoid giving up the big runs, the big chunks of yardage, the big plays that Illinois State has been very good at making, you have a chance to be successful defensively. And not only is he a good runner, but their quarterback is also a true dual threat now, which has given them another dimension.
Talk a little bit more about the quarterback, as he transferred from University of Indiana after suffering a broken leg last season.
Well, he's played a lot of football in the Big Ten. He actually was Indiana's starter for multiple games over the last couple of years. Now at Illinois State has given them a quarterback run element as part of their offense, as well as a quarterback scramble element in their passing game. And so part of our focus will be to stop their main running game, as well as to stop the running ability of the quarterback.
On the defensive side of the football, the Redbirds' leading tackler is junior linebacker Pat Mahan, who anchors an ISU defense that has only allowed 49 points through 5 games. Coach, what can you tell us about the defense?
They're very sound in what they do. They've got good players at every level, and they're going to be a difficult team to move the ball with consistency against. There's some carryover preparation for us. They play a similar style of defense to what we've seen the last 2 weeks against North Dakota State and also against Youngstown State, and hopefully we can build on some of the things that we did well against those 2 teams and be better at some of the things that we didn't do as well.
This weekend, the Leathernecks will square off against Illinois State at 3 on Hanson Field. That's all the time for you for this episode of the Pigskin Preview. For Coach Nielsen, I'm Andrew Bacon. Thanks for watching.